Should I call it? Yeah.
Good morning, guys, or good afternoon, guys, and welcome to the podcast. I've got a fantastic guest for you today, Naveen, and he is a technologist and he is the AI architect at Microsoft. And so today's talk is going to be all about AI, intelligence, technology. We're going to talk about generative AI, large language models, and I'm really interested in hearing to see what he has. So, Naveen, welcome.
Hey, Chris, thank you very much for inviting me to your podcast and glad to meet your audience as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Share your background and your story, and we'll dive into the questions.
Yeah, sure, definitely. So I started my career like 15 years back and back in India, and I came to in US in 2015, and I worked for retail CPG companies like PepsiCo, and I also worked for Morgan Stanley, Toyota, and other large enterprises. I've solved a lot of problems and the business. I have a lot of business solution design systems for enterprises, and I in 2021 I joined Microsoft, and I was a part of cloud journey initially, and then as AI got picked up, and I moved into AI, and now I'm a AI lead at Microsoft.
Yeah, interesting. One thing is that I'm really interested is these kind of the first thing is what are some of the latest advancements in AI that you're most excited about, and how are they going to transform industries like healthcare, finance, education, and so on?
Yeah, sure, definitely. Good question, Chris, to start with. AI has been, it's not new, right? AI is around, it started with machine learning, and then it went into deep learning, and then we got a foundation models, and these LLMs came in, and with the LLMs, we just started asking questions, and then it answered. So, and we are all wondered how it can do this behind the scenes, and then we learned that how it tokenizes and how it does the vectorizing of your data, and then how it gets the data, how it do a multidimensional view of the data, and then get this answer from using this white papers and others, which is already available about AI. So I don't want it to repeat that or get into that. In the advancement, in the sense is the latest advancement, what is a lot of models coming around specific use cases, like for math, specific problem like O1 preview and other models, which are like specific to design for a specific task. Maybe it can do math well, or it can do this well, or something around that. And also you can hear the one latest advancement, what I wrote about in my one of my blog is real time, the audio real time. Like you can talk to it and it can talk back to you. So where it gets grounding data from your app source. So you have been typing, asking questions, and then it responds back. So now those days are now gone. You can just go ahead and ask it in any language, and it can understand in English, do the processing, and then come back to you in the language what you want, or it can come back to you in language English. So these are the this is something new around LLMs. What I have seen, like what I worked last 2 weeks back. And so one thing, the other thing is other very interesting and very important thing is agents, right? So far you asked something and it gave you something, and it didn't do anything. It just did a small lookup of your data, and then it came back to you answer with answers. Now, tedious task, right? How do you get this task done? So I've been doing this work every day. Like I come to my office, I read this email, I have to do this. So there are a set of tasks which I have to perform every day. So can AI do that? I just go into this certain thing, and then I do this review. I have to beat this button, do all this work. Can AI do that? Yes, it's possible with AI agents. AI agent is a big, so it can't be explained in an hour or two, but it's there are different frameworks that are available in AI agent. And using that framework, you can even build your own agents for your use case, right? So go ahead and look to this YouTube and get the transcript from and summarize the data and whatnot. Right? So you can ask it to do anything, and it's capable of doing things. So that's right now AI agent is the one which is in the limelight, and we don't know what comes next week, but for now it is the case.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. And so moving on is the next question I have for you is there's what I really love is OpenAI and Amazon, Meta. They're all developing their large language models, and it looks like OpenAI's got the first mover advantage. But what do you see the battle for the large language model playing out? And talk about large versus small large language model. Sorry, small versus large language models and the advantages, limitation, where they can best each be best applied.
Yeah, sure, definitely. And every LLM who is developed, be it either developed by OpenAI or be it from Google or be it from Amazon or Meta's Llama model. There are several. You can Mistral, you can go. The list keeps on going. Right? But the end thing is what's the accuracy level you want, right? And what if you evaluate the results and what percentage of accuracy you get in the evaluation. So that matters when still date and whatever data I know from different research results, right? Whatever data I have and whatever data I have read, OpenAI always it's on the top by a difference of at least 2 to 3% when compared to other models which are available. And one good thing with Meta model is they are open source, so you can take that model and then do whatever you want. Right? You can shape it or you can contribute it towards its growth. So that's one beauty of Meta model. So that's how I can see the models in terms of different coming out from the different providers altogether. And usability wise, if your data on Azure or if your data is on any other cloud service provider and you wanted to integrate with the AI and make sure you have to make sure like which AI works for you best and which AI works for you better so that you can stay close to that OpenAI because Azure has that relationship with OpenAI and then you can have your data close to your AI infrastructure so that you don't have to spend on time latency and then doing things like that, right? So it is best to always have in Azure. So since I'm not saying this because I work for Microsoft, just my general thought is what to keep your data as close to your AI resources, like wherever you have. So you can have till Azure has recently at least about regional resources. You can have your AI model sitting close to your data so that it can do whatever it wants. So that in terms of LLM. When we talk about SLMs and LLMs, so this is one fantastic thing what everybody needs to know. So not all your use cases needs 175 billion parameters, right? So the LLM support based on the different providers, LLM has the limitations of like 175 billion parameters. So if you are doing some tedious task, doing some research paper or doing some research related work where you need to analyze multiple dimensions and multiple views of your data and what this says and what that says. And in that perspective, I would say go for LLM and some use cases, even with the enterprises, right? Like how can I analyze the market trend and be it I'm a retail store, like be Target or Walmart, like how can I analyze this market data and things like that may need LLM. But for other use cases, there's small use cases like summarize this for me and then do this. Can you extract the content from this PDF and summarize this data? I want some real-time processing. I just wanted to do a quick ClickUp and summarization of a RAG and things like that. May fit in a small language model like Mini. And there are models like even with Microsoft 535 models, those can run on your own local laptop. So you can keep it as your own assistant. So you can build that and then you can just pull it using Olama and then you just run it in your local so that you can ask your day-to-day questions and summarization using the SLMs. So yeah, that's how it is.
Interesting. Yeah. Really interesting is what I find is going to be like the large language model wars. It's going to be like the browser wars and these battle for the social media platforms. Next question I have is this very interesting area is generative AI is a hot topic right now. And how do you see businesses leveraging generative AI and what unique opportunities does it offer for innovation and growth?
Yeah, definitely. So when we talk about generative AI, so there are a lot of opportunities for each and every sectors, be it healthcare, finance, and marketing, anything. So I would see that is the future. The generative model is the future. So that for one simple example. So for example, in olden days, like maybe last 2 3 years back, so where we used to ask, I need a report for on something that's happening on my company. What I do is I go to my IT team and I have to make them understand what report I want, and they takes their own sweet time to build those reports, and that reports comes out after 3 or 4 months, and I may not be that output may not be compromising. It's not what I expect. So in that case, I go back to them and then make some changes to the report, and then I get the data. But currently, you have real-time reports, right? You plug your uh, generative model to your data, to your own data, be it structured or unstructured, and that you ask any questions or any format and you ask for any type of output, so it can do that for you. So that's the magic, right? So what all I need is just a model for my enterprise, and then I plug it to my data, and then that works for me. So that's the future. And even with health, I have seen one use case. What I heard from one of my friend is they had insurance providers, right? For example, I go to a doctor, I give my insurance details, and the details were not captured right, and they have missed few particulars to be captured on that insurance record, and they'll have to make a call to the to my insurance provider and then make sure like what information it is. They have been doing that manually till date, right? Every they have a customer support people who they look up the record and then find all the missing information. They call my provider and then they get the details. And with the latest advancement, what they are doing is there is a headless AI agent sitting in that in front of it. It goes find which record is missing what, and it knows what number to call. It give call to the service provider. It talks to a service provider in a human language. In even and the person at the other end can't doesn't know whether it's a bot or it's a human. It can answer it in that way. So it can answer all the questions what it needs. It can validate itself and then it gets the details from the service provider and then send it to a submission, and the people just on the other side can sit and review whether the data collected is right and then go push to the data. So these are the advancement what I see in health. So it's not just in one industry, and in manufacturing, I just recently heard one use case which I can't disclose here, but it's a fantastic use case what manufacturing is doing with generative AI. So world is all around AI. So I would say if we are not getting adapted to those versions, then we are the ones who will be left alone. So that's what I would say.
Yeah. The other question I have for you is how close are we to this kind of moment where just basically AI is going to take over? And I'll give you an example. In 96, right when the internet was getting started and there was email, and then pretty much like probably by 2000, that was when after the dot-com bust, it was like then you had yeah, we had the Amazon, and later on you had Google and Facebook, and pretty much you saw like all these industries get disrupted with AI. How soon do you think this is going to actually like cause like significant disruption, like significant loss of jobs, and known companies going under or getting acquired? How many years do you think we have?
I first of all, I have seen people, a lot of people saying this that people are going to lose job with AI.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is true as long as we are updated and we know the knowledge of AI and we know how AI works and we are up to date with AI. I
Uh,
don't think it's going to take your job out, but it is going to create more and more opportunities. And I just heard one of the OpenAI's employees blog where he is writing that we will be doing less work than what we did the past, right? So I have been working very hard to get my work done. I work long hours, maybe instead of working 8 hours, I work sometimes 16 hours or 20 hours to get that work done. That's not going to be the case going forward, right? Because AI is here and AI is going to do a lot many things for us, and we will be just a evaluator. That's what the end goal is. So it's going to do the job, and we will be just watching whether it is doing. For that, you may need to know more about AI, like which one can do this job better and how we can plug that into our systems and how we can get the best out of it. So those types of knowledge and understanding may be needed. To be to keep it short, you have to learn AI. You have to know AI. Then definitely, I don't think you will. There is any job cuts or anything, but opportunity is going to be more, and our prices or the pay what we get today may be going to be more. Is what I see. It's my personal thought. Yeah.
Yeah, very insightful. And I wanted to point out to the audience that it's all about it's not going to be the AI that takes your job, but it's actually the what you're alluding to, the person that knows how to use AI to use the different tools. And so a follow-up question I have for you is for you and for myself, and we're well educated, we're doing well, we know how to use technology. But what about, for example, your average person on the street? They're like they don't like they wouldn't even know. You ask them like ChatGPT, or you ask them to do a ChatGPT query or create something, and they're like, What about like my mom and dad or my grandma or grandparents still using rotary phones?" But these individuals, like, it's gonna for you, it's great that you're at the forefront. But what about the people that get left behind? What's gonna happen to them?
Well, very good question. Yeah. This first time I'm hearing this question. So yeah, what I would say is when internet starts. So I'll take my own example, right? My father always go to bank to withdraw his money, and he go with the check leaf, or he take the challan there, and then he fills all the details and then get the money from the bank. So that's how he was doing business when I was about 10 to 12 years. When I was 12 years old, he was doing that. And then I have slowly saw him going to ATM and not going into bank with the ATM card. He puts the pin and he makes sure how to stay away from all these fake calls around asking for ATM pin and things like that.
Yeah.
He and last month he visited me, and then I saw him working on Facebook. Sorry, he's using Facebook things, and then he's doing some Instagram reels and everything. I've seen all these faces so often, which was very interesting for me. And then I had never taught him anything, but he learned talk with word, right? So
Yeah.
as you see people using things, and as you see people doing some stuff around AI, you go ask them, and then you get announced to it. So the same like the phone. So initial days, we know how to use the normal phone without any display or anything. As soon as the display came, people started taking pictures. And initial days, I don't have my pictures when I was 1 year or 2 year old. I don't have those pictures with me. But today, my daughter take her own picture. So it's all happening. It happens as soon as technology evolves. And even when you think about all the products and everything that comes out of Microsoft or any other AI solutions, right? So they make product for, they know the culture, they know people, they know which product should be made, how to reach the people and to reach the even an end customer who is sitting there out there in any remote village, right? So they know how to make solutions around that. The solution is also being made that way so that it is adoptable by everyone in the world.
Yeah. It's really because you have to literally, because I'm a late millennial, or actually I'm a late millennial, earlier Gen Xer, and I have to like these technologies. I have to force myself to use them, and it's a kind of a steep learning curve. You know, upgrading a Mac or like a new smartphone, you have to get used to the gestures, and then, for example, my mother-in-law, she refuses to, she doesn't want to use, for a long time she had a landline, and didn't want to learn how to use a cell phone, and now she's decades behind. And same thing with banking too. Another parallel question is, like, for example, like Elon, he's coming out with the autonomous Teslas, and I was listening to a YouTube video, and he was like, "Yeah, this autonomous vehicles are coming," and I lived in San Francisco, and I took a Waymo. It's like really one of the coolest things. But so, what's going to happen to Uber and Lyft drivers, or what's going to happen to the trucking industry that ship things? They're going to be out of a job, right? What do you? That's something you cannot really when learning to use AI isn't really gonna help a truck driver keep his job, or unless you have a different insights.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. This is a very challenging question. So one thing what I would say is how long back did we hear about Tesla's automated driving, right? Where you sit in front of it and then it drives off your own, and how I don't know how many of them adopted.
Yeah.
So it's all possible when every car is made by Tesla, or cars can top each other, right? So until those days comes, it's not going to be true or real. So it can work in certain areas, but imagine the autonomous car goes in New York, right? What happens in the 8th Street or 9th Street in the good evening or good morning? So it's not possible. It's not that easy to implement an autonomous vehicle that goes in 8th Street of New York at this point. So it's all going to take time, and by that time, the drivers or someone, right, they might have found a different solutions, or so as I said earlier, so AI will make our job easy. So they own a vehicle and then they let it run in a road, and then they sit back, relax, and earn money. And so that's how I see them going forward. So did I answer it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. And another corollary, final question, because we have around 4 or 5 minutes remaining. And another corollary is when I look at industries, pretty much the internet disrupted almost every industry, and the industries that it tried to disrupt but failed because of regulation or bureaucracy or just incumbents was our education. It is really starting to make its way in finance. And I know the government really fought against financial innovation, try to keep the legacy players in healthcare. I think is going to be one of the last one. Transportation at the forefront. How long do you see? Like, is it going to be in my lifetime, or will I be dead before we see like this Netflix moment that destroys Blockbuster in these like education, healthcare, finance, and then, like government, like these very old incumbent legacy that just refuse to change and they try to impede progress and they put up all these barriers. How long do you think we have? 50 years, 60 years? Will I
Mm.
be dead before then?
No, not that. So it's going to happen very soon. Like how you see application, well, you can see office ledgers and everything long back. Right now, those systems are now digitalized. So as long as you are in the digital world, you are definitely going to be a part of AI, no matter how. If you are not, you will learn from your partner. For example, if something is implemented in US and that capability is not India, then India is not going to be able to communicate with US in those terminologies and other stuff, right? So obviously they will have to adopt these recent enhancements or features, what's going on. And especially with the AI, so the internet is, if it, I think if it took long, this long to create an impact like this,
Yeah.
they not going to be that slow, right? You should see things happening very fast. And next, I expect like next 5 to 7 years, you should see AI in each and every industry, be it government or that's my personal view. And how I see that is it already started making something in education, right? Each and every, so I do judge a lot of hackathons for students. So when I go judge those hackathons, I see students coming up with a lot of AI use case. 100 out of 100, around 99 people do something with AI today. So even the younger generations are more towards AI, and without AI, it's not going to be. We can't imagine a world without AI. So everyone should adopt it very quick. So at least in next 5 to 6 years, you will see a lot of difference in there.
It's very interesting because we're on the forefront. And for example, my niece and nephew, they're 10 and 11, and they're learning how to use Chat GPT to spin up smartphone apps. And I know a lot of undergrads, they're like starting companies with Chat GPT to create websites. And almost overnight, you can create a business. And so I think the next wave is going to like kind of Bill Gates and Steve Jobs they were like the first wave of millionaires, and I think the next wave is they're gonna be able to do it in their teenage years, younger. Yeah, it's quite interesting. It reminds me just like kind of the laws, certain laws when I was growing up, and it took 28 years to see actual change, and it's like just so I'm just curious to get the insider's perspective. How can people find you and reach out to you and connect with you? I know you're very active on LinkedIn.
Yeah, sure. You can reach out to me in LinkedIn. It's NABINTKR is my LinkedIn ID. So just go ahead and contact me. And I also write my own blog. So it's on medium.co, AI with Naveen Krishnan. You can also reach out there. So I'm active. You can follow me for all the latest happenings. I try to blog them each and everything, what I do and what I see. So about AI, just about AI. So if you wanted to learn AI from ground up, so you can see that. So it's all written in a normal standard format where everybody can understand and do something in AI. So I always recommend you to watch that as well. Keep watching that and then keep yourself updated with AI. So these are the two places where I'm always acting. And obviously you can see me in some podcast if I'm given an opportunity like Chris, you may give me this opportunity. So I'm here talking with him. And if I a lot of opportunities like this where you can talk about where you can see me talking about latest innovations and things happening in here. Yeah, these are the places where I am active. Yes.
Yeah, and it's so great because, like I said, these internet and the Zoom technologies and just has enabled us to connect and be able to just almost seamlessly transfer. It's gonna be as like you said, 7 years. I think the next 10 years are gonna be really great if you're an entrepreneur or creator, especially in this AI area. So thanks so much and keep up the great work.
Sure, definitely. Thank you very much, Chris. Thanks for inviting me and see you all.